What's up guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be reviewing the update 0.9.23, the thermal update in Tactical Assault VR. So let's get started. So I'm not going to talk about the fixes that they did because that stuff is kind of behind the scenes. When you're playing, you're probably not going to notice that right now. I'm only going to talk about what they added in this most recent update. So the first gun on our list is the AK-74M. Now, this was requested for a very long time in the community, and it was finally added. When it was added originally, it had a different handguard, but now it has this really nice 74 style handguard. Now I am using a sound pack, so these sounds are going to sound a little bit different from what you guys hear, but I'm just showing you guys the gun. Yeah, cool. And the next gun on our list is the CQB-R, which is a new M4 platform, which has a shorter barrel. It looks very similar to the carry handle M4A1 Classic, except it is a bit different. And that is the CQB-R. And I've used this so much recently. Like, it's probably one of my most used ARs at the moment because of how short it is and how versatile it is. The next gun on our list is the M16A4, and it looks like this. This gun has been really requested recently before this update, just like the 74M, and it's deserved, dude. Like, it's awesome. It is great. So now people don't have to use the Mark 12 in place of a long barrel type of AR-15 or M4. And this is 3-round burst. Awesome. And while we're talking about the M16, a little change that they did to the M16A2, they made it into the M16A3, which is fully automatic. And the next gun on our list is the PM, or most people know it as the Makarov. And this one was kind of a meme gun that was leaked during the AI weapons update. And then I leaked it, and then they added it to the game, so this might have been my fault. But I mean, it's actually a really good addition because it allows us to use this with base AK kits, which I've been running a lot. And I mean, it's a Makarov, so it's not going to do that well, but it actually works pretty well in close quarters, even though you only have like 8 rounds. The next change that they did was in your actual menu. When you click your primary rifles slot and you press rifle, there's going to be now a sorting system. So instead of scrolling like this on the thing to get to your specific rifle that you want to run, you can actually press base rifles, which is this page, classic rifles, which is all the classic variants of the guns, and DLC rifles, which includes all of the DLC rifles. Now the second change that they did within the menu is making it so sights actually show up depending on what gun you have. So all you have to do is go to your primary or whatever you pick here, and go to the sights menu, which we did have this before, but now it's new, and it'll update with the color of your gun and what you have. So you can see here, we have these two on the bottom, okay, the LCAN and the sniper scope. But if we go to the LMGs, let's just use the MG3 for example, we have, you can see this right here, you have the LMG LCAN and you have the LMG ACOG right here. So on the topic of optics, if you're running a 74 AK platform, then you can go down here to the iron sights and pick one of these new optics, and let's talk about these now. So obviously you guys have seen the OKP7 optic. This has been in the game for a very long time, but this optic mount has not. So before, we could not mount optics on the AKs at all, unless you're running the AMD or the 5. But now, you can run this dovetail mount and mount these new optics to it. So obviously you guys have already seen the OKP7, and this is what the reticle looks like. So let's go to the new optics. So the first new optic on this list is the PKA, and this is kind of like a red dot, just a classic AR red dot, but on the dovetail mount. Pretty cool, right? So before I continue, you might see that the dot is a little bit to the left of the iron sights. Iron sights are here, dot is here. So when you shoot really close up, and I can show you here, when you shoot really close up and I aim like center, you're gonna hit low and right. Just because of the way that this is mounted to the AK. So the next optic on our list is the EKP1S. And a lot of you guys might know this as the Cobra sight. This is the reticle. It is a simple mountain reticle. Yeah. Looks pretty cool. It works pretty cool. I'm a very big fan of the mountain reticle. It is pretty cool. Some people might call it a chevron. And our next optic is the 1P63, and it looks like this. Now, this is, again, just like a normal red dot, except the reticle looks like this. You guys can't really see it. That's what it looks like. So, pretty nice, pretty nice. I have used this in PvP, and it works pretty well, but I will definitely take the next optic over this. So the next optic is the 1P78. This is 2.8x magnification, and this is what the reticle looks like. Look at this guy for you guys. Now, this is one of two optics that they added recently, where you have to put your, you have to put your full eye onto it before you can basically really use it, because of the way that the optic is. Because if you're all the way back out here like you normally would, you're seeing a lot less of the sight picture than you would if you like here. And you can see when I shoot with this, the gun doesn't phase through my head like it usually would. It just stays right here. Pretty cool. And our next optic is the 1P29. This is 4 times magnification. And this might be a little bit controversial, but this might be my new favorite optic in the game. Just the way that it looks. Oh, dude, the reticle is perfect. So just like the last one, you have to put your eye all the way against it to make it basically the most effective that you're going to get out of this optic. This is the reticle. And this is how it performs. And while on the topic of the dovetail sights, a lot of them are above the iron sights, so you can still use the iron sights if you're close to someone, as you can see here. Now this next optic is a little bit different than those ones that I just talked about, because we already have had this one in the game, just on the SVD alone. This is the PSO1. And now we can put it on all of the 74 variants. And in addition to these new optics, you can add them on guns like the AKS-74U, the SVD, and the VSS Venturas. And you may be wondering, Dagger, what are we doing on this watchtower? Well, now you can kind of see those enemies over there. We now have thermal imaging on the spotter scope, now called the TI scope. So you can see, if I zoom in here on this guy, The current setting is black hot, which is what you see there, be hot. But you can also change it by holding trigger to white hot, which some of you guys might like better. You can see that guy over there. I can fully zoom in. And let's see, that guy right there. Where is he? There he is. Super easy to find now. Very easy to find. If you don't like white hot, you can switch to black hot. I prefer white hot though. Gives those Modern Warfare 2 2009 vibes, you know. And that wraps up the update review for the thermal update. I would call it the optics update because we got so much more optics than thermals, but you know, pretty awesome. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Later.